Hey YouTube, y'all. I want to be more excited, okay? Because so many people said you have to watch The Have and the Have Nots. You have to watch it. Where's your review? And I was like, I was hyped, okay? And then I watched it and I was highly disappointed. And they should have put me in the writer's room because what the heck they were doing on this mid-season finale episode is an absolute mess, okay? It was so predictable. I was pissed off to the highest level of festivity, okay? But y'all know I'm still gonna do the review. I'm still gonna give y'all my take, okay? This was The Haves and the Have-Nots, Season 5, Episode 22, titled Till Death Do Us Part. Now, before we even get into that, if this is your first time on this channel, please click that subscribe button. I promise to give you great commentary on some of your favorite shows just like this one. And for my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your support. Now, let's get to this mess, okay? Okay, so it started off where it left off with Oscar in this dang candy glass window in the hotel. Y'all, I'm still mad about that because that was so unrealistic. Like, you cannot just push somebody and they just fall out of the thick hotel window. Like, come on now. If that's the case, then a lot of these hotels would have a bunch of lawsuits, okay? The Artesian Hotel was clearly cheaply made. But whatever, okay? Oscar falls out. Candace starts freaking out. So she gathers up her person, everything, and leaves out of the room quickly, okay? She doesn't want to get caught. So she goes into the elevator, and she goes down to her floor. Now, once she gets off the elevator, she sees RK standing outside of her door. He was conveniently about to call her. I'm not sure if he was checking on her because he wanted to make sure she made it upstairs safely, but whatever the case, he's at her door. So she doesn't even question why he's there because she's freaking out. She walks straight into her room. RK is behind her. He can tell something's wrong. So he's like, what happened? She's like, he's dead. And so RK says, who's dead? Candace says, Oscar's dead. So RK, like, his automatic response was, oh my gosh, is this my fault? And I thought to myself, why would he say, is this my fault? Now, mind y'all, on last week's episode, RK was the one that kind of prompted Candace, or I think it was the week before. RK was the one who told Candace that Oscar and Rocky were speaking to one another, and Oscar was basically out to get her. Okay? So he thought, like, maybe it's his fault. Maybe Candace killed him on purpose. We definitely know that's not the case, but so Candace tells him no. Then she says, I need you to write a letter. I don't need you to put your fingerprints on it. So anybody who with some type of common sense would know that, okay, this is the setup. She wants him to write a letter because it's going to be a suicide note. So that's exactly what it was. She had him write a letter, and the letter said, I can't take it anymore. I can't do this life anymore. I love you. I'm doing this for you to put you out of your misery. Okay. So once RK finishes the letter, first of all, he wants to make sure it wasn't a letter for him. So, of course, Candace tells him no, and then she tells him to go upstairs and put it in Oscar's room on his desk. So RK says, I'm not doing that. Like, you know I can't do that. I can't even get into his room. Candace looked at him like, boy, bye, okay? We already know, me and you both know that you be robbing people. You're a common day thief, okay? So I know that you have a way to get into his room. So RK is like, okay, that's true. I have the master key. I'll go in there and plant the letter in there. Okay, cool. So he asks her what room. She tells him what room, and then he rushes out to go and do it because they're very limited on time at this point. So while she's waiting, Candace is literally, she looks super stressed out, like she didn't plan for things to go this far. So she is sitting at the edge of her bed in her room with her face buried in her hands, and then finally RK comes walking back through the door. So he tells her it's done. So then he starts asking questions. Now, y'all, tell me if y'all sense that he was a little suspicious in this moment, because RK was asking so many questions like he was the feds, okay? He was acting like he was a mole or another informant. And I'm like, RK, like, okay, maybe you're just trying to get real close to Candace and be her, you know, number two, her right-hand man, or you are planted here some type of way. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. But whatever the case, RK was like, it's done. How did it happen? Candace says, well, he slammed me in the elevator. Then he like knocked me out. He choked me out. And RK is like, yeah. Let's get to the part of the story where you actually did something to him, because clearly something happened. And so Candace was like, he stole $4 million from me. And so RK is like, okay, but did he deserve to die for that? She said, well, let me tell you this. I collected my money and I collected it with interest. So we know that she got back like $8 million or almost $9 million from him. When she says interest, maybe that interest came along with his life as well, but you know, whatever. So RK is like, dang, $4 million. That's crazy. Well, I guess he did deserve it then. And then he's like, dang, you really are a bad chick. She was like, yeah, but like your luck will run out at some point. And I feel like my luck has run out. And so she tells him, you need to go back to work, okay? You can't be gone too long. You're starting to look suspicious. So then RK tells her, like, oh, I'm on my break right now. So Candace just says, like, well, dang, you taking a lot of breaks nowadays. This is another thing that has me looking at RK real suspicious, okay? So RK tells her, no, me and Rocky, we have something on our boss, so, like, we can get away with this type of stuff. But in the meantime, I'm just here to comfort you during this tough time. So he literally starts taking off his suspenders, trying to get undressed. He always trying to get into Candace's pants. She's like, boy, bye. Okay, this is not the time for that. And so she tells him, you need to get back to work. I need you to hear what the police are saying about this situation, okay? I need an inside man. So he says, okay, and he leaves. So next thing you know, we have Catherine. Catherine, last time we saw her, she had just seen Hannah inside the police station in there to check on Benny. And when she went out into her car, she was like bawling, crying. Of course, she feels a lot of guilt for the things that her son has done, and he keeps involving other people's innocent children. Okay, so Hannah is literally like blotting her eyes, calming herself down. Okay, then we see her get out of the car. At this point, the scene switches to Hannah inside of the police station. She is asking if she can see her son, Benny. At this point, he's still in the back of the cop car, so she's not able to see him. So perfect timing, Catherine walks inside. Catherine goes up to Hannah and tells her, like, I need to talk to you about something. I know you're busy, but you need to hear this right now. So Hannah's like, okay, what? So Catherine tells her that Benny didn't do this. And Hannah says, well, how are you sure of that? And she said, I know this because Wyatt did this. And she explains that it was a drug deal gone bad, and she's really sorry. So Hannah starts looking at her side eye like, well, how long have you known? Because your family has played me before. Like, y'all knew that Wyatt hit my son that whole time he was in the hospital. Meanwhile, y'all was trying to cover it up, and y'all was paying his hospital bills, but didn't really tell me what was going on, okay? That's what she was thinking all in her head. So, Catherine tells her, like, I haven't known very long, okay? So then Hannah, perfect timing, she was like, tell the truth, Catherine, okay? Tell the truth. So Catherine is like, no, seriously, like, it's true. And so Hannah asks her, well, did you know that night that I came over and I started explaining to you what kind of trouble Benny was in with this whole situation? And so Catherine tells her, like, well, I knew that he hurt someone, but I didn't know that you were talking about the same guy. Like, it was the same situation. And I'm like, Catherine girl, you a lie, okay? You just don't want to lose your friend, okay? And I understand you trying to protect your child and your friendship at this moment, but you knew good and well, okay, that wasn't Benny, and that was what Wyatt did, okay? You had a strong intuition that that's what was going on. Okay, so Catherine says, I promise this isn't like the last time, referring to the car wreck. She was like, I'm turning him in this time. I won't let Benny get in trouble for this whole situation because he didn't do it. So Hannah was like, well, he is getting in trouble. Like, he's already been arrested. Catherine was like, no need to worry. I've already called the lawyer, Marty. I already confessed it to him. He is on his way up here and he is going to get Benny out of jail. So Hannah says, well, thank you for telling me the truth this time. And I'm like, at first I'm like, Hannah, did you have to say this time? Like, you rubbing it in. But I get it. You still feel some type of way about that situation. So then Catherine says, well, I had to. And then so Hannah says, you turned him in. Catherine says, yes. And at this point, this is when she starts crying. She can't remain tough anymore. So Catherine tells her, like, it's killing me. I can't breathe. And then Hannah jumps in and says, well, you know what? It's okay. I completely understand what you're going through. I understand your emotions. I had to do the same thing to Candace when they were looking for her for Quincy's death. And I'm like, girl, bye. You don't understand. Like, I know that Catherine genuinely loves loves her kids, okay? Wyatt. But Hannah, you're nothing but evil to Candace. And I remember that episode when Hannah turned in Candace. She did not seem sad or remorseful at all, okay? Like, she seemed happy. Now, she claims she was protecting her, but she don't have those same feelings that Catherine is having in this moment. So, Hannah goes a step further to tell her, you know, you're doing the right thing, right? So Catherine says, well, you know what? That's my child. Like, it's just hard. I hope I'm doing the right thing. And so Hannah tells her, like, you're helping him. Like, he has to pay for his crimes. So Catherine says, I know. Once again, it's just a lot to deal with. So Hannah tells her, you know, I'm really sorry. Catherine says she's sorry too. And Hannah then asks her the dumbest question, are you going to be okay? And so Catherine tells her, like, no, like, I'm a parent. That's my child at the end of the day. Like, all we do is raise these children. We do all that we can to raise these children. Hannah's like, that's true. We do. So Catherine has, you know, a little bit more like of an emotional moment with her. And then she reassures her that when Marty gets there, that they'll let Benny out of jail. But in the meantime, Catherine needs to go talk to Wyatt because he about to be locked up, won't let him out. Okay, so next thing you know, we have Jim and Gia. Okay, so in last week's episode, Jim and Gia, like, they were in the room, in the hotel room, and Jim had basically told her, like, I caught your drift. I know who you are. Do you have a wire on? We're gonna play this game my way. So at this point, they're walking down the steps of the hotel into the lobby area, but there's all this commotion around. I think you can actually hear the paramedics in the background. So clearly there is like emergency services on the scene because Oscar has fallen out of the window and I'm sure he's dead. So they are like clueless as to what's going on, but they end up parting ways. Now, when they parted ways, Gia called the DA, and she updates the DA, and she tells him, like, I got him to talking about the murder. I think he's more comfortable around me now. I just want you to know when I get him, we need to be ready. Now, this conversation between Gia and the DA, I didn't know if she was playing the DA or if she was really doing her job. Now, mind you, Jim told her that it will work to his advantage now that he knows she's going to be wearing a wire. So he can, like, basically, like, fake give himself up or not give himself up or kind of try to set somebody else up through the wire. Okay, so I didn't know if Gia was saying what Jim told her to say or if she was really like still doing her job as an informant and trying to like hook him in and basically warning the DA that, hey, we need to be ready when it's time to arrest him because Jim is not a joke. Okay, so next thing you know, the DA gets off the phone and his assistant that we know as Sarah, she is in the office sitting there. So she asked him, like, what was that all about? The DA is super happy, okay? This done made his day, okay? He about to go and celebrate at happy hour after all this. So he says, you know what, Jim Cryer, I got him. I finally got him. Our informant is ready to wear a wire. And then so Sarah's like, well, that's really good. But you can tell she looks nervous. And so the DA says he trusts her. Now I need to go and grab my notes. Apparently somebody fell out of the hotel at the Artesian and it fell out of the window and we need to go check it out. So he leaves out. So then Sarah, sneaky Sarah, she gets on her cell phone because she got to warn Jim, okay? So she calls him, and the first thing she says is, there's a wire. So Jim tells her, let me remind you, if I go down, we all go down, okay? I'm singing, okay? I'm singing all of our stories, all of our sad love songs, okay? And your whole reputation is going to be ruined. And I'm going to tell that you took the evidence and everything. So you better get this under control. So Sarah was like, I know. That's why I'm calling to tell you. So Jim is like, okay, bye, girl. So next thing you know, we have Jim at the hotel. He walks up to Justin in the lobby. Of course, he wants to know what's going on, and Justin is a police officer, so Justin can give him more information than what the public is privy to at this moment. So Jim remembers Justin from Wyatt's house when they were like in that like brawl, that tussle back and forth. So Jim goes up to Justin and was like, he's just like real rude, you know, his normal self, and was like, you need to tell me what's going on. So Justin was like, basically, we had a jumper, meaning like Oscar jumped out the window. And then so Jim is like, really? Who? So Justin says, Oscar Aiden. Do you know him? So of course Jim knows him, but you can't be associated with somebody that supposedly jumped out the window and killed themselves. Like, if people know that they were associated in any type of way and they had bad blood with each other, that's just a whole nother situation that Jim has gotten himself involved in. So Jim says, no, I don't. So Justin says, yeah, it's sad. He left a suicide note and everything. The DA is actually on the way up here now. So Jim says thank, and he gets ghost because this ain't the scene for him, okay? It's too hot. So next thing you know, we see Jeffrey in the background. He's walking through the elevator. I don't even know if he noticed Justin in the lobby, but Justin noticed him right at the last second. And he actually looks up at the elevator to see what floor Jeffrey is going to, okay? So he takes mental note of that. So now we have Erica and David, okay? They are at David's lovely, huge, gigantic home, and they are walking around like they are living happily ever after, okay? You would think that they didn't just got back. It's day one from their honeymoon, okay? They are living their best life, smiling and cheesing and grinning. You can see all of their teeth. So, she's like commenting on stuff in the house, and she politely tells him like, your furniture is really not my style. I would have chose something different. So he tells her like, go choose something different. She's like, no, well, this is your house and I don't want to do that. It's fine. And he's like, no, Erica, this is our house, okay? So just go and exchange the furniture at the store. It'll be fine, okay? So I'm like, David, it's y'all house. This girl done told you that she love you, and now she about to be Mrs. Harrington, okay? Whatever. So, Erica says, oh, okay, I'll jump in a cab and go to the store. And David is like, no. Like, you won't be jumping in a cab. Actually, follow me, okay? So David takes Erica outside. Now, he takes her outside. There is a brand new silver 2-seater car with a red bow on top of it. And I am like, David, have you lost your ever-loving mind? You went and bought her like this sports-like type car? Like, are you serious? Like, she has you all the way wrapped around her finger. If I was Veronica, I probably would feel some type of way. So Erica is like gushing over this car, and she's like, oh my gosh, David, thank you so much. And David says, yeah, I'm sorry, Veronica burnt up your car. And Erica's like, well, I have car insurance, like I could have got a new car. And so David is like, don't trip, keep that money. And I'm like, girl, keep that man, okay? So it's weird because we know that Erica didn't have no like 2-seater, like shiny, super expensive car. But David made sure that he wanted his boo to be riding in luxury. Okay. So of course they exchange like hugs and kisses and all of that. So at this moment, a black car pulls up and out jumps Jim Pryor. Okay. So at this point, it is Jim's first time meeting Erica. David says, "This is my lady." So Jim says, "Oh, this is the mystery woman." And so Erica is like, "Mystery woman." And she's like, "Oh, I guess that David had to make sure that I wasn't crazy." And so Jim is like, "Oh, my best friend, he doesn't deal with crazy women, let alone marry them." And I'm like, "You always got to throw digs, Jim. Always, okay? You just be straight hating." And so at this point, Erica's like, "Okay, well, I'm going to go inside the house." Well, David tells her, like, "Don't you want to, like, get inside your car? Like, don't you want to go for a ride?" Erica is like, "Yeah, but I want to go with you, so it's fine. I will just wait." And she goes inside. So of course, Jim is a little pervert, so he watching her from a distance, and he like turns to David and was like, basically like, "Yeah, I approve of her. Like, she's nice. I don't know where you got her from, but I'm impressed." So Jim, out of nowhere, tells David like, "What is up with it with you and these people that you hang out with? Oscar freaking killed himself." So David is like, "Say what? Come again?" And he was like, "Yeah, like dude jumped out the window at the hotel." And so David is like, "There's no way. Like, did you push him out the window?" And so Jim is like, "Come on now. Like, you know what type of person I am. I had to get my money first, and I don't have my money. So you know I didn't push him out the window." Okay, touche. So then David says, "Well, we do know who has your money, Benny Young." And David says, "By the way, I just got a call that he was in jail." And so I'm thinking, how, Sway? Okay, you don't work at the jail. How do you got connections at the jail? Why are you keeping up with Benny? Well, David goes to explain that ever since he knew that Benny was dealing with Veronica, he has been tracking him all this time. So that's how he was informed that he was in the jail. So Jim is like, oh, and David tells Jim that Benny robbed him alone. Okay, so Jim is putting all this together like, oh, Benny's in jail for robbing him alone, but really Wyatt robbed him alone. Okay, I need to go see Benny in jail, okay? I need to talk to him. And so David is like, oh, okay. Well, go. So David sets that up for him. So Jim gets in his car and rushes to the jail. Now, at this point, David goes inside. He's all happy to see Erica. He's gushing and in love. She's really eager to go for a ride in her car to the store with him, but he tells her he has to go handle some business really quick. And she's like, "Okay, well, I'll just wait for you then." He's like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "That's fine. I'll wait for you." He said he won't be long. Okay, so then we see the hired hitman, okay? The hitman that Veronica hired, that was one of Derek's old friends, partners in crime. He is outside. Now, at this point, I thought that he was acting like he was like a utility guy, like some type of electrician or something, working on the power lines outside. Okay, well, he has a little bit of experience in dealing with utilities and power lines and electric items and things like that. We find that out soon. So he calls Veronica. Veronica is mad because she's like, "Why are you calling my phone? I told you don't call my phone." He tells her, "Don't trip, okay? We're both on burner phones, okay? Whatever." But I just want you to know that he bought this girl a new car. So we see the whole expression change on Veronica's face. Okay, she's salty, which, okay, I kind of understand, David. You didn't have to go all out with the car, but whatever. So he bought her a car, and so he tells her his plan that he crossed the line. So what? So when they go to the furniture store or go to pick up furniture, then they'll get in the car, and it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be big, and we find out. Well, we know that he's talking about a big explosion because this is what Veronica told him to do. So she says, "Very good." So he tells her, like, "Look, this is going down in a couple of hours. There's no turning back now." And she was like, "Boy, just do what I told you to do." Okay, So she hangs up the phone with him. Then her regular cell phone rings, and Veronica picks it up. Whoever she's on the line with, she tells them, okay, I will meet you there. Now, it's safe for us to assume that she's meeting whoever that she gave an address to last week. Okay, so we know this is her address to go and find Melissa. Now, so then we see Jim. Jim is sneaky. He's a judge. He can pretty much move around wherever he wants in the jail, okay, the local jail. So he was let into the interrogation room where Benny is. Benny isn't even looking up at this point. When he finally looks up, he notices Jim Cryer. They recognize one another. So he asked him, like, okay, are you my lawyer? So Jim is like, somewhat, something like that. And so Benny is like, okay, cool. Well, get me out of here because I didn't do anything. Jim says, okay, I know you didn't do anything. Actually, I know who did it. And so Benny says, cool. Well, you need to go out there and tell him. Jim is like, you're not about to be giving me orders. Actually, you have something that belongs to me, and that's what we need to speak about. And he's like, actually, about almost $9 million, your little scheming, scamming sister stole it from me, and then she transferred it to your account, so I'm going to need my money, okay? Or you can rot in here in jail, okay? Whether you did it or not, I don't care. You say you're innocent. A lot of people in here say they're innocent. But I do know that the Malones, they'll be pissed off to the highest level of festivity. I know that family. They will ruin everything that you own and that you love, okay? So either you can give me my money, or I will just let you rot in jail and you can die a slow, long death because the Malones will have you killed in this jail. So Benny is like, I don't know what you talk about. I ain't got the money. And Jim is like, don't play dumb, okay? Don't be dumb like your sister. Clearly dumbness runs in the family. And at this point, Benny is refusing to say anything. He's not getting involved. He's still thinking of his $1 million that Candace promised to him. Okay, so at some point, they keep going back and forth, yelling at one another, and Benny is like, I didn't do this, I didn't do this. The tension is just rising. Then, in perfect timing, Hannah walks in with Marty. Now, remember, Catherine had told us that Marty's on his way down to the station so he can get Benny taken out of jail. So Hannah comes inside and she looks at Jim and was like, what are you doing here? And so Jim says, I'm talking to your son. So she says, okay, about what? What's his face? Benny chimes in. He's like, nothing. And she's like, no, about what? Nothing, Mom. It's not a big deal. Jim, what was you talking to my son about? I was just talking to your son, okay? They're not letting her in on any of this, okay? So in the meantime, Marty butts in like, okay, you know what, Benny, you're free to go. And so Jim looks at Marty like, free to go? Like, what are you talking about? And so he's like, what the heck do you mean he's free to go? So Marty was like, well, they found the real guy that actually did commit this crime. And so Jim says, who? And Marty says, well, it's your son, okay? Your wife turned him in, so yeah. So at this point, Jim, he still wants to manipulate Benny, but he ain't got time, okay? He has to leave and go and figure out what's going on with Wyatt and Catherine and his son being turned in. So at this point, Marty takes Benny to get processed so that he can get out of jail. Okay, so now we see good old Jeffrey, okay? Jeffrey is sitting on his bed. He receives a phone call from his stalker bae, Justin. So Justin plays this little trick that a lot of females tend to play with their men. So, like, he calls Jeffrey and acts like he don't know where Jeffrey is. So, it's a test. So, Justin was like, Jeffrey, well, first of all, when he calls Jeffrey, Jeffrey was like, what is it? Like, what do you want? I'm irritated. So Justin is like, well, I haven't talked to you all day and you're going to pick up the phone and act like this? This is what I get? Like, yeah, dude, like, you ransacked the whole condo. Like, don't, he be playing like he didn't do nothing. So Justin says, where are you? So Jeffrey lies because he doesn't realize that Justin knows he's at the hotel. Jeffrey said, I'm at the place that you ransacked, okay? The place that you ruined, and I'm still disappointed. So Justin says, I want to see you. And Jeffrey says, Justin then goes a step further to say, how long are you going to punish me? Jeffrey is like, I'm not punishing you. I'm tired. Goodbye. Get off my phone. Click. So then we see Justin in the hallway, okay? Because, of course, we know he's in the same hotel. Now, he knows what floor Jeffrey went to, but he doesn't know what room he's in. So Justin's crazy self starts calling Jeffrey's phone again. He knew Jeffrey wasn't going to answer, but at least he can hear the ringer. So he is literally going in front of like every hotel door and listening for the ringer so that he knows what room Jeffrey is in. A little cray-cray. So perfect timing, RK gets out the elevator because remember, RK told Jeffrey at the bar he's coming up to his room on his break, and he thinks that Jeffrey is rich because of his watch, and so we know that like he's trying to like act like he's into him just so that he can steal his stuff. Okay, so RK gets off the elevator. He has a bottle of alcohol in his hand, and Justin sees him go into Jeffrey's room. So Justin is pissed off to the highest level of festivity. So Jeffrey says, what do you want? RK says, I want you. He's all laid out on the bed, okay? So Jeffrey was like, okay, so is this how this works? Like, are you an escort? And RK says, no, I'm not an escort. So Jeffrey tells him, you need to leave. So RK says, well, can you help come and take these off? So he's taking off his suspenders, okay? He always trying to take off his clothes. So perfect timing. There is a knock on the door. Jeffrey opens the door and Justin walks in. So this looks real bad and ain't nothing even happened. So Justin is like, you've been in here for a long time, haven't you? So RK gets up off the bed to like readjust his clothes. So Justin is like, hey, I know you. And he's like, I arrested you, okay? He kind of like messed with him a little bit too, but they left that part out. So Justin is like, oh, I see what's going on. Y'all exchange numbers in the jail cell. And I'm like, Justin, what pen and paper or cell phone did they have to exchange numbers, okay? People don't remember numbers nowadays. Anyways, so RK was like, no, I came up here to deliver room service. And so Justin was like, I thought you worked down at the bar. RK was like, I do both. And so Justin says, I think you're lying, so you need to leave. RK is like, cool, I'm out. So he happily walks towards the door. Then Justin stops him and was like, wait, now he is a private investigator for real, okay? Inspector Gadget. He's like, I see that the bed is messed up. Your suspenders were down, and there's a towel on the bed. Now, y'all need to tell me what's going on. So Jeffrey finally speaks up, and he is like, Justin, don't start this right now. And so Justin says, no, when I arrested this guy, his record was so long. He does robbery. He's a thief. And when I arrested him, he was getting arrested because he was pretending like he was gay so that he could rob this guy. No, he was like, as a matter of fact, I'm going to take this bottle into the lab. If I find out that this bottle has any traces of drugs in it, I will come back to this hotel and I will personally arrest you. So, RK is like, look, whatever you say, I'm just trying to get out this room. So he finally leaves. So Justin turns to Jeffrey and says, you should be glad I was here. Jeffrey is like, what is it going to take for you to leave me alone? And Justin says, for you to die, like your death. And so Jeffrey is like, bro, I know you're not threatening me again. Like, how many times am I going to tell you? So Justin was like, no. Like, I'm not threatening you. I'm just saying, like, till death do us part, because, like, we're going to be together. So Jeffrey is like, look, I need some quiet time. So he goes into the bathroom and shuts the door. So, next thing you know, we see Hannah and Benny. They are pulling up to Hannah's house. And Hannah is questioning Benny on why won't he tell her what Jim told him. Benny is like, no, I need to talk to Candace first. Hannah gets her panties in a bunch because Candace's name was even mentioned. And Benny is like, look, let me just go talk to my sister. Can I please borrow your car so I can go and see her? Cool. Hannah lets him take it this time. So when Benny leaves, Veronica then conveniently pulls up, and Hannah is still outside. So Veronica gets out of the car with what we can assume to be an evaluator, because remember, she needs to have Melissa evaluated. So she looks at the address, notices that Hannah's in front of the house. So she asks her, like, Hannah, what are you doing here? She asked her, Hannah, what are you doing here? Hannah was like, girl, I live here. What you doing here? And so of course Veronica makes little digs like, dang, you done really came up in this world. Okay, you moving on up. So Hannah tells her Benny is not here, so you can take your little hightail somewhere else. And so Veronica tells her, I'm not looking for Benny. I'm actually looking for Melissa. Is Melissa here? And then Hannah's like, I don't think so. So you need to go somewhere. Why are you looking for her? So Veronica says we have a court order to evaluate her sanity. And so Hannah's like, well, I don't know if she's here or not. So Veronica says, well, the court order says that we can check the premises. So can you please go ahead and get her? Okay, so Hannah rings the doorbell as if she don't live there. She don't have a key to the house, okay? So Melissa answers the door. Hannah has her come outside. She says, unfortunately, this little thing is here to see you, okay? So Melissa opens up the door. Veronica approaches her, and Veronica tells her, Melissa, this is Dr. Saber. He's here to take you to get some help. And so Melissa's like, help? I don't need any help. I'm like, girl, I beg to differ, but I'm on your side right now, okay? Because Veronica's crazy, but you really do need help. And so Veronica says, yes, you do, honey. You tried to harm yourself and my grandbaby. You really need help. And so Melissa's like, what are you trying to do? Veronica said, I'm trying to protect you. Melissa said, girl, bye. You don't even like me. You don't even know me. You don't care about me. And so Veronica says, that's not true. And Melissa says, no, you're trying to get somebody to put me away. I know what you're trying to do. I'm not going anywhere. So Melissa runs back into the house, okay? At this point, like, Veronica is like, Melissa's being so dramatic, and Hannah is like, blocks the door, like, you're not coming in here, you're not coming in this house. If you want to come in here, I need you better go ahead and call the police. I don't care about your court order. I need to see warrants. You will not be entering my house without that. So Veronica is like, oh, you think you a hood lawyer now, like you know the law? And then she's like, that girl is in danger of herself, and I need to get her evaluated. Hannah is like, no, she is in danger of you. You are a danger to her. So all of a sudden in the background, we hear Melissa say, you ruined my life. And I'm like, what? Like, what is going on? So they back up because they hear her from a distance up high. They look up. Melissa's on the roof about to jump off. So Veronica's like, Melissa, no, don't do anything stupid. And then Melissa is like, I'm tired of you. I'm sick of you. Hannah's like, oh my God, oh my gosh. And I'm like, yes, girl, call him. Please, Jesus, take the wheel, because this is an intense moment, okay? Although we already knew it was going to happen from the preview, but whatever. So at this point, Melissa don't want to hear nothing else. She closes her eyes and straight up jumps off the cliff. Okay, it's safe to say by the look on Hannah and Veronica's face, she's dead. Like, there was nothing there to catch her fall. She is deceased. So that was body number 1 or 2, because she's pregnant. And it's like, she was alive all this season, and y'all said she was pregnant, and she didn't even look 5 minutes pregnant, and so we still don't even get to find out if she was actually pregnant. Like, yeah, I didn't appreciate that, okay? At least let us find out that Melissa is like 2 seconds pregnant and then she done got pregnant by Benny. Like, there were so many ways to flip this story, and they didn't. So whatever. So, next thing you know, we see Wyatt in his room. He's laying on the bed in his room in his straight jacket. So, what's her name? Catherine finally shows up to visit her son, okay? And he is not happy to see her, but she's like, I'm here to check on you. He was like, so you see me, now you can go. So Catherine was like, Well, I just came to look after you. I just want you to know that I need to talk to you. That man that you hurt, someone else may be blamed for it. So Wyatt is like, okay, and I guess Dad is up to his old tricks again, trying to like frame people. And she's like, actually, no, it was Benny Young, which is Hannah's son, the one that you hit with the car. He's the one that's being blamed for it. So Wyatt was like, well, this is great for me. And so Catherine is like, no, the police think that he did it. This is not good at all. You did it, and you need to pay the consequences for it. And so Wyatt starts laughing, like, are you doing this because I plan to testify against you? And she's like, no, I'm like, you did this, okay? And nobody else should be blamed for it. Okay, so you have to pay for your actions. Well, Wyatt was like, well, I can't pay for my actions because y'all took all my money. So she's like, money can't buy everything, okay? Like, you need to hear this and hear this good. And so Wyatt is like, you know what? You come over here. Come sit by me. Don't worry. I can't hurt you. I got on a straight coat. I can't do nothing. And I'm still looking at him with my side eye like, Hannah, don't believe him. He might headbutt you. Anyways, she goes and sits by him. And he tells her, I hate you and Dad. I don't want you to live. You guys did all you could to keep us away from you. You sent us to boarding schools. You sent us to band camp. You sent us to summer camp. You absolutely sucked as parents. You were the worst parents we could ever have. And I want both of you dead. And so Catherine is like, I'm really sorry you feel that way because I love you. Like, I might have been the worst parent. I might get the award for the worst parent ever. But after you came home that summer from band camp and that priest did what he did to you, I was the one that was there that held you for days. I tried to make sure that you were okay. I was the one that was there when you called in college. I was the one that was there every time you called when you were in rehab, time after time after time. I was the one that you called when you hit that poor little girl and killed her and you hit Benny. Like, I was the one that was there when the drug dealer was about to kill you and you called me. So Wyatt is like, well, you want to know why I called you? Because you're worse than any devil that I've had to deal with. So that's why I called you. And I'm like, dang, that kind of hurt. So he's like laughing when he says this. Catherine was speechless. And Catherine basically breaks down and says, look, we've always done what we thought was best. And at this moment, this is what I think is best. This is what I'm going to do. He's like, what are you talking about? She gets up, walks to the door, opens the door. The police come in and they tell Wyatt he's under arrest. Okay. So, back at David's house. David, okay, Erica walks down the steps. When she walks down the steps, she is like all happy and gleeful, but she hears something, so she looks out the window. But then David walks up behind her. She's like, I thought I heard something. He's like, yeah, I came through the garage to surprise you. So great. She's excited. She wants to go take a ride in her new car. So she's like, let's go outside and get in the car. So he walks her outside. They go to her new car. She has the keys in her hand. He opens up the driver's door for her so she can get in since it's her new ride. And he is walking around the other side of the car to get in. He didn't even make it all the way around until Erica put the key in the ignition, turned the car, and boom, the whole car blew up. At this moment, we just see flames where Erica was sitting. So she is well done, okay? She's well done on the show. She's well done cook. She's burnt, okay? Now, David, on the other hand, we see him roll into the grass. We still see his body. We know that he is alive. He is medium rare. He might have a few burn marks, but he didn't get got like Veronica wanted him to. That doesn't mean she's going to stop coming. Now, I was highly disappointed in this because we already knew this was going to happen. I feel like they've been preparing us for Erica's death for like 3 episodes. Veronica specifically told Candace, I want to see Erica burn. I want to see David hurt. That is exactly what happened. We knew this was gonna happen. She told the hitman last week's episode that she wanted it to be big, an explosion. Like, we already knew this was gonna freaking happen. And I'm even more so upset because now, like, David doesn't get to find out that Erica and Candace was playing him. Like, he really fell in love with Erica, like, and that would have been great for his character if he found out that all this time, like, his situation with her was a lie. So now he's just going to love her even more. I mean, we might see a tough side of David. He might try to kill Veronica, but I highly doubt it, okay? David could have died and we could have saw, like, Erica be sad because she really actually loved him, like, something. But the way that it panned out, I didn't like that, okay? You could have killed Gia before you killed Erica, okay? Erica's been an OG. She's been around for a while. I wanted her to get found out. Like, she planted this whole, like, plan with Candace, and now, like, all of that is for nothing. So, and she was supposed to be in cahoots with Rocky, and Rocky was supposed to be the inside man to be checking on Candace. Like, it's frustrating. And I don't like the way that ended. And so, I don't know. We shall see. So, y'all let me know what y'all think of this mid-season finale. I know this is a really long review, but there were so many details to get through. But I'm not happy about the way that it turned out. But it is what it is. It'll be back August 13th, along with Iyanla Fix My Life and Greenleaf. So I have so much to review. And next week, I will start reviewing Power. See you guys next time. Bye.